Hi everybody, it's Casey, and I am 6 months post-op on my gastric bypass journey, but this video is not an update video. I still weigh 157 pounds, I'm 5'6", I was 257 when I started, but this is more of an answer to a really good question that I was asked on Tumblr today, and I was supposed to post a video earlier when I first got the question. That was my plan, but life got in the way. And by life, I mean I went to the gym and I went shopping. So, sorry that it took me so long to get this up. I was busy on my day off. So, the question was, it's a hard question, at least in my eyes. And it seems like it would have like a really simple answer, but it doesn't. It's really complex. And the question was how do people treat me now that I've lost all this weight versus how they treated me back then when I was 100 pounds heavier? And like I said, the answer is a lot more complicated than what people think. You would think that the easy answer would be people treat you better, but it depends on the circumstance, it depends on the person, and it depends on me. So if we're talking about strangers, people who have never met me, I feel like they treat me better than what I did when I was bigger, because I think when I was bigger, I was more isolated of a person. I wasn't really outspoken. I felt like my physical being drew attention to me, and so I was a quiet person to try to like avoid that. I didn't want to be seen or be known or be heard because I felt like my body did that for me. And I think it kind of like put people off, and then now that I've lost the weight, I'm more of a confident person. I carry myself better. So like I worked retail, and I feel like I'm more approachable now than what I was then, because now I want people to approach me. So part of it is how I carry myself, not necessarily how other people treat me, but I feel like I give off a vibe that like, come talk to me, come work with me, I'm happy to be here, and all this kind of stuff. And I think people feed off of that, but I also think that people take me more seriously because I look like I care about myself, whereas before, it's kind of sad, but people just assume that when you're bigger, you don't really take care of yourself and everything, and then they think that they can't talk to you, and it's sad. Like, I look back on my old self and my heart breaks for the person that I was 6 months ago. And because it's almost frustrating, because I know that I'm the same person that I was back then. But I feel like people didn't appreciate that person. But now that I'm 100 pounds lighter and I'm a lot happier, people appreciate me more and they notice me more, and I want to be noticed more. But it's like I feel like that version of me didn't deserve it. Or like I feel like that's how people saw it, that the big girl wasn't good enough, and that really hurts, and it's hard for me to accept sometimes. And sometimes I have to look at myself like I was two different people, and like you mourn the loss of that old life in some way. Like, it's hard. It's weird. It's really weird. It's kind of like you experience your life as a fat person outside of your body. Like when you get to this point when you're 100 pounds lighter, you're like, whoa, man, I was that big? Like, there's no way. And then you forget that that's how you spent the majority of your life. And it's like you're really quick to jump into this new life, and it's crazy and wonderful and chaotic all at the same time. So that's strangers. High school, I was picked on pretty brutally for my weight. I've had some pretty cruel things said to me throughout my high school experience, and this is where it really feels like a backhanded compliment. Since I have lost the weight, a lot, and because I've been open about my thing, so everybody knows that Kirsten had gastric bypass surgery, and everybody knows that Kirsten lost 100 pounds. Kirsten, Casey, whatever you call me. And people who I went to high school with who were very mean to me about my weight have sent me messages being like, you look great, and then all of a sudden Kirsten's cool to talk to. And it's kind of like, F you guys. Because, like, I don't know. It's just, was I really that bad? Was I that, like, repulsive that people didn't like me, but all of a sudden, like, oh, we gotta talk to her. I don't know. It's the most frustrating feeling ever, because, like, it's a compliment that people find you attractive. You want people to, you made this drastic change, you feel better about yourself, and you want people to notice it, you want people to acknowledge it, you want, like, I'm single, so I want the attention, and, like, all that kind of stuff. I like positive feedback for all my hard work, but at the same time, it's like, these were people who were mean, like, cruel, that made going to high school terrible, that made me sit up and cry and like starve myself at points because of my weight, and now all of a sudden, like, I'm good enough? Like, that's terrible. And it makes me sad because, like, I think I realize more now how, like, important appearance is to people, and, like, how big of, like, what society constitutes as acceptable for body positivity. And it's just, it's sad, because I don't feel like I'm any different. I mean, I am different. I'm different, but I'm not. I'm still me, but I care about myself in a different way. I have more self-respect. I have more confidence. I'm happier. And I feel like these are all positive things. But, like, I had those days when I was big too. I had body positive moments and days of confidence, where days when I went to the store and I bought a hot outfit and I rocked it at 257 pounds, but, like, nobody acknowledged it or appreciated it like what they do now, and it's really sad. So that's kind of a negative. And then I've also realized after losing 100 pounds that I have more friends than I thought I did. People who I didn't think really I can never say this word, genuinely care about my health and well-being actually do, and have, like, gone out of their way to, like, make sure that I feel supported and that I'm making, like, good decisions and all this kind of stuff. People who actually care have, like, come out of the closet and been supportive and had amazing things to say, that never really acted like my friend before, but now they do. And it's like, that is so wonderful, because when I put my story out there for everyone, I didn't think that I would get as much support back. I thought there was going to be a lot more pushback than what there actually has been. And people that I never imagined would be there for me have been there for me since day one, and have said some of the greatest things and sent me the best messages and words of encouragement and everything. And I couldn't be more grateful for that, because this journey is so emotionally draining that you need every ounce of support that you can get. And the fact that I was getting it from people who I didn't even think remembered me, because there were people back from middle school that were saying, like, the greatest things to me. And I just, it makes every day that has been terrible since I've had gastric bypass surgery a lot easier to deal with, and it's made the great days even better. And that's one thing that has, like, definitely changed. You learn through this whole process who your friends are, and that was the other part that I was going to talk about this, because there's how strangers treat you. There's people who are, like, not encouraging or mean or whatever. And then there's people that are your friends. You will find out who your friends are in this, because that is probably the most significant thing that I've noticed when it's how people treat you differently before and after surgery. When you're dealing with jealousy issues and all these kinds of things, it's people who you actually have cared about and want to be supportive of you may not be on the same page, or they may not be capable of supporting you to the way that like you would hope and want, and that it's really heartbreaking. And there's times where you find yourself really lonely because people say some really heartless things, and it blows my mind. I don't know if I should give examples, but screw it, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's fair that people get surgery to get skinny. I'm gonna be the fat and ugly friend now. I still like that one. I can't get over it. Well, now I'm gonna be the ugly and fat friend. Like, okay, you were only friends with me because I was ugly and fat. Like, that's cool. And like, and then I had LASIK done on my eyes, and another comment that I don't think I can ever get over was, oh, so you're just gonna get surgery to fix that problem too? And like, it's just the comments, the things that people say, don't realize like how much they impact you, especially when they're supposed to be your friends and be supportive of you, and it's like, well, you had this tool to lose all the weight, that's not fair. And like, well, at least you're skinny. Like, it's not about being skinny. None of this was ever about being skinny. That just happened. I can sleep through the night now. I don't have acid reflux anymore. I can be a mother one day because I finally got my cycle back, and it's regular for the first time in over 3 years. And my hormones are in the right place. Like, this is about me being healthy. And even if it was just about me being skinny, I'm healthy and happy, and isn't that enough? And gosh, it's so frustrating. And then people think that because we just get this surgery to fix everything, that we get our weight loss handed to us. And that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And I always think of that TV commercial every time somebody says that this is the easy way out. And I've even met people who are obese themselves that think that gastric bypass surgery is the easy way out. And they think that that's just going to fix the things for them, and they're not going to have to put any work. And that's so wrong. This is hard. This is freaking hard every day. And you know what? I'm only 6 months out. I got my hunger back, like my cravings and everything, at like 4 months. So everything between 4 months and 6 months, so the past 2 months, is me having to get my butt in the gym, because I work out almost every day, sometimes twice a day, and me making good choices, because I can screw this up. I can gain the weight back. I choose what goes in my mouth, not my stomach or whatever. Like, it doesn't... I still have to put in the effort in this and make the right choices. And people think that just because I had my stomach cut and my intestines moved around, that all of a sudden, like, I don't ever have to think about food again and I'm just magically gonna lose weight. But that's not how it works. But that is a very big misconception, and people who are your friends who don't go through the work of learning about this process of gastric bypass don't understand that, and so it's hard for them to support you. And then there's the self-sabotagers, or not the self-sabotagers, the sabotagers that come into play, that want to go out with you, to go eat, and be like, well, you're already skinny, so you don't need to worry about losing any more weight, so you can eat this, and you can try this, and have a bite of this. And it's like, no, I don't want to. And it's not because my stomach's small, it's because I don't need to be eating that crap and I don't want to anymore. I did that. I lived that life and it got me to 257 pounds. And right now, I can honestly say that I am not ready to like let loose on the reins because I do not have the self-control yet. One day I will be able to indulge myself a little bit. And one day I'll be able to say, I can have a couple bites of this or a cookie or a cupcake and be able to say I'm not going to make this an everyday thing. But I know right now if I were to try to do that, it would be an everyday thing because I'd go right back into my old ways and it's not worth it. Right now it is not worth it and I'm not in the right place. And instead of some people respecting that, they don't because they're jealous and they don't. And I say jealous, but no, it's jealousy. The way that they talk about it, it's definitely jealousy. And there's only like a handful of people I have in mind right now, but so, man, this video got really long real quick. So it depends on the circumstance. It depends who you're talking about, the before and after. Strangers treat you better. People who, I think my favorite feeling in the whole wide world is meeting somebody I've never met a day in my life and them looking at you and like inside your head you're going like, you've never seen me fat before, you have no idea. Like that little bit of like, I don't know what to call it. I don't know. It's a really good feeling, I promise. It's just like, this person will never know. It's like a dirty little secret. And it's so wonderful. And then it's fun to like rub it in people's faces in a weird way. Like I try to be really humble about my weight loss, but sometimes it's nice to be a little full of myself for the first time because I've never really got to be like, I'm hot, and now I'm like, I'm good looking. So that's cool. So that's a really good feeling, but there's downsides to it too, like losing friends, but then I'm trying to realize that they're not really your friends to begin with if they can't support you. I lost my boyfriend of 2.5 years out of all of this, and part of it was just because, a big part of it was I needed the lifestyle change, and it was one that he didn't want to make and wasn't willing to make, and that was hard for me to handle, and I needed somebody who was ride or die with me on this, and like, I tried looking at it, like, I loved him, and he was here for me when I had my surgery and was super supportive, but like, I had to love me more. And that's what it boils down to. So, and that's what I think that's like the overall message of this entire answer to the question. It's not even about how other people treat you, because how other people treat you is going to happen regardless of whether or not you stay the same weight that you are now, or you lose all your excess weight, or if you lose your weight and gain it back, or whatever the circumstances happen, people are going to treat you the way that they're going to treat you regardless. But you have to treat yourself okay, and you have to love yourself, and you have to be happy with the choices that you make and everything, and that's where it really matters. And you have to be strong enough to say, I can't let toxic people into my life anymore, and you have to be strong enough to like filter through all the people who are just talking to you because you're a success story and you've lost all this weight. Like, it's nice to get attention, but you don't want the wrong attention. And you don't want attention from the people who couldn't accept you and respect you when you were at the biggest point of your life, literally. So it's a complicated answer for a really simple question, and you will go through millions of different scenarios and it's literally a case-by-case thing. Every single person you meet, there's going to be a different response. And I have also found out that men tend to be more receptive to and accepting of weight loss surgery as a method of weight loss over women. Women have had way cattier responses. I don't think I've actually had a guy say anything negative to me. I went and worked out with somebody who was extremely hot today and somebody I would have never had the confidence to be like, hey, let's go work out together, because he was like ripped, and I was just, inside my head I was going like, oh my gosh, if I was fat he would never even like give me the time of day. And I told him about what I used to look like and what I did, and he was totally cool with it and really open-minded, and I was just like, yes. Cool people, and now I have somebody I can work out with. But still the best decision I ever made. And now this video is really long, and so I'm really sorry, but I kind of like rambled. But if you guys have any more questions, I love questions. Obviously, I love giving answers, so feel free to send me more and I make more videos because it's fun. Alright everybody, have a good night.